What was the worst part of the Avs game?
Penalties.
Okay.
For sure. It is absolutely the undisciplined work that we saw from the Avalanche here tonight. And I hate going from a game yesterday where I'm like, I'm not really worried about this. Like it's their first back. Like I can deal with that, to maybe this is a problem. And it's going back on my words, but when your penalty kill can't be efficient, you can't afford to take penalties that way. And it's something the Avalanche have really prided themselves on, being a top 3 penalty kill in the league. And I don't think it's something that started to fall even before the Olympic break. So I don't know as though this is just they're 2 games in from the Olympic break, give them some time. Like it's become more and more of an issue. So it's that undisciplined nature. I also don't want to give too much, attention to the poor officiating tonight, but
we did plenty of that.
Yeah, we had it handled.
But that Cale Makar call really changed the tide of things.
Yep.
Like that's where things started to fall apart, and that's the biggest negative to come out of this one, because otherwise you look at the first period, you look at most of the third period, and the Avs had this one handled.
I agree. Yeah.
You've been through it the last 36 hours, so I don't want us to have to fixate too much on the power play. You've gone through enough. I don't want to put you through that.
I appreciate you more than you know.
But I am curious, just from a process standpoint, like where are we at in terms of watching this developing narrative? Because Nate doesn't play last night. Power play looks pretty good. Marty scores. Power play looks actively worse tonight. It's too small of a sample size, but just, I don't know. What do you think about the process tonight?
What else is there to say that hasn't already been said is kind of where I'm at with it. What I thought was interesting in looking at tonight too, because you hear Bednar talk about, okay, that's kind of Mac's spot that, Nesh finds some success in last night.
Yeah. And
you see him today, like they're constantly switching on the power play. They're constantly kind of finding each other's spots. Nesh just tries to creep over there a couple times too. Like you see, I think there's a little bit of recognition that there's something that works there, and he feels a little more comfortable there. Other than splitting them up on the power play to potentially give Nesh just some more of an opportunity in that spot, I really don't know what else there is to do. I am kind of at a loss here, and it comes down to, at the end of the day, stubbornness. Again, Bednar's comments from last night, seeing how they go to try to fix things and then revert. It comes down to the definition of insanity, being stubborn, whatever you want to call it. Like that's really all this is. Whether it's Mac's spot or not, it's not working. Something is not working. Something needs to be done. And when I see Nesh just looking as comfortable as he does there, I'm mentally yelling and screaming, saying, give this more of a chance. Give this more of an opportunity. What is the point in not doing so? How much worse can it get?
Well said.
Can the Avs allow themselves to be okay with this game? Because yes, you have the discipline problems. Yes, you have the failure to score on the power play. You're also looking at a game in which you put up 47 shots. You were arguably the better team at 5-on-5. Sure, there's things that you need to fix, but are you really that upset about the game, at least the underlying play in this one, if you're Colorado?
Not at all. I loved what Bednar said in the presser, calling this a missed opportunity. That's exactly what this game was, because we all have similar views when it comes to back-to-backs. Like you get the first 2 points, the second 2 are just kind of bonus at that point. And I really expected a more tired version of the Avs coming into this one, but I'm looking at most of the first period and I'm like, this is watching them keep up with Minnesota, who this is their first game back from the Olympic break. This is their first game of a back-to-back. That's insane to me to see how well they're keeping up. And looking at some of those underlying possession numbers, it I think makes me even more mad looking at the outcome of this game. And the Avs kind of dug that hole for themselves. Obviously, you know, officiating opinions and everything kind of comes into that. But at the end of the day, that undisciplined play kind of bit them in the you know what, and they weren't able to capitalize. It finishing can be an issue. Like whatever you want to blame it on. Like those underlying numbers really, Bednar was pleased with them, and why shouldn't he be?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Look, as a team, you win as a team, you lose as a team, but do the Avs need to do something to continue getting this version of Marty Necas? Because it feels like the way he played at the Olympics and now 2 games back, if this is the guy you get in the playoffs, yeah, Marty's going to take you far.
Oh gosh, I'm so excited if this is sustainable work for a guy like Martin Necas. And I hate this answer, but you can't have an Olympics every year. You can't that's unfortunately, when looking at this Olympics, I think it was a huge ego boost. As we've kind of talked about, he was not projected to be the best guy on that roster, and he took that in stride.
Yep.
And that does work for a player's ego. Like that's, I think, a huge part in a lot of what we're seeing from Martin Necas is he knows he had fantastic players on his lines with Team Czechia in the Olympics. He's also got a great player in Nathan MacKinnon playing with him every single night. So that it does a world of good for his confidence when he knows he doesn't have to be the passenger on that line. He doesn't have to just be the guy passing the puck all the time. He can be the guy ripping pucks from faceoff dots and proximity and anywhere on the ice, and he can go and score. That is huge. So if he can keep that up, my biggest worry here, again, he's always been a streaky player in throughout his entire career. So the big part of that is making sure that confidence can keep steady through the next stretch of games. That's going to be the biggest part for Martin Necas.
Sustainability of it all.
Yep. Only other question I had, and I'm phrasing this maybe intentionally flagrantly. Did Mackenzie Blackwood deserve better in this game?
Absolutely. 100%. A lot of those, I mean, you look, 2 empty netters, 2 weird deflections off of skates. There's really nothing he can do about that. I'm sitting here through the entire game, and he's making these unbelievable stops. And what can you do in that situation? Mackenzie Blackwood is tracking the puck well, doing everything he needs to do to succeed and help you succeed in this game. Weird bounces and other things. Like I can't really fault him for a game like this. It sucks that the finishing couldn't come on the other side of the ice for Colorado. That's really what bit them. And you can't expect your goaltender to win you a game all the time, especially when you're only scoring 1 goal a night. That's not going to cut it ever.
Yeah.
You've been in the building the last 2 nights. I'm just curious, how did you feel like Landeskog looked in his first 2 games back? Obviously took a penalty both nights. Tonight's felt a little ticky-tacky to me. Last night he just straight up tackled a dude. Can't argue that one. But what have you seen out of Landy as someone who's been in the building for all of these minutes?
I think he's looked fine. As far as his role on the team goes, he's doing what he needs to do. He's being that kind of, gritty presence, not afraid to stand up for his teammates kind of player. So to that effect, I think it's been the same old Landy we're used to watching. But I also think he's kind of getting caught in the hole that a lot of other players on the team are, and maybe being a little too whimsy with his stick or a little too undisciplined in the way he's moving around on the ice. And that's as much as I do say like the undisciplined nature of things right now for the Avs is a problem. Like it's something they'll fix. I have no doubt about that. That's just my biggest problem with him right now. And if that's the biggest problem I'm getting out of Gabe Landeskog, cool, fine. Like I'm perfectly okay with that.
Fair enough. I don't know how much more I can rant about this game, Bailey. So final thoughts on this one.
You get through the first back-to-back, you get a break. Biggest thing, I'm just happy the Avs have a day off coming up here. Get an early one out of the way, and then you go back to work. So take the break while you got it. There's not many of them left. That is my final thoughts.
The madness definitely does not stop. Bailey, we'll let you go. That has been Bailey Curtis on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line for the courtesy call.